Got me feeling right.
Hi everyone, this is Michael Condon representing 2Med2. We've got your fix, and this is going to be a special episode. What happened is I was recording with Michael Pappas for his podcast, Rogue One, our reaction of The Mandalorian, Season 1, Chapter 1, or the premiere that just came out. But because the way life is, it has to drop here. So I hope you enjoy.
Yo, what up, guys? It's Mike Pappas, Rogue One. This is my siloed semi-review of the first episode of The Mandalorian. I have a very special friend of the podcast and friend of some of you in the community with me here in my humbly abode, my buddy Mikey Condon. Mikey, what's up, man?
How you doing today, Mike?
Chilling, brother. Just excited that it's Star Wars season's officially kicked off today, I think, right?
Yeah, we have the Mandalorian coming off today, and we have another episode on Friday, and then we have some Resistance coming up, and
Fallen Order, man. I know you're not a big gamer, but like for me, like Star Wars Fallen Order coming out as the first single player story experience in over a decade, over almost 2 decades. I don't want to shed any hate towards the Force Unleashed games, but like this is the first Star Wars game we're getting that's coming out in this decade that's a single player story driven experience. I'm psyched about that. I know you're going to play it. You bought a new laptop for it, right?
yeah, I don't want to actually you, but actually, I am excited for the game because I just went out and bought a new gaming laptop for the sole purpose of just playing this game. I have it pre-ordered. I will be at GameStop at 10 o'clock on Friday when they open, and I have a sick day that may or may not be being used depending on how poorly I feel after I start the game.
You know that it's 2019. You don't need to wait outside of GameStop anymore. You can actually like buy it on the Steam, I believe, and then just like download it and play it. You don't have to get like a physical copy anymore.
Bro, I have
don't
trouble
know.
turning on my computer sometimes, so
You don't have to wait for the physical copy. I mean, you can basically what happens is you can download Steam's app, if you will, and from there you create a Steam account and you can actually download the game right onto your computer, like Thursday evening. I guess after midnight. I guess.
see, that's why I come to you for my computer knowledge because you saved me about $1,000 on my laptop just from telling me what to do and how to get it.
That's
So,
right. That's right. I've been building computers for a couple of years, but I didn't want you to spend all that extra money for no reason, dude. Like the retailers, they want to they want to get the most they can out of you. So, long story short, unless and I know you're a collector, dude. Unless you want like the boxed copy of Fallen Order for PC, which I'm not even sure that's a thing. It probably is with a title of this magnitude by EA, but if it's not, you're probably just going to go to GameStop and get like a download code or some type. Well, they probably have some type of promo going on.
Well,
There's probably some type of like pre-order bonus that they'll give you, like like a new costume or some other shit. I don't know.
my RDS really doesn't tickle just over a box video game, so that's not something I have to worry about.
All right, cool. So I recommend to you is that you download Steam, you pre-order Fallen Order, and you'll be able to basically play like as soon as it drops, which would be at 12:01 a.m. on Friday. You'll be able to just play that shit from your rig, dude.
All right, well, I will look into that,
All
but
right.
I have some other stuff I need to take care of first, like
Which is
the reason I'm here today.
Oh, dude. So yeah, obviously the Mandalorian dropped. That's why we're here to review or give our take on the first episode of the Mandalorian. Mikey and I just watched it. I think we're gonna watch it again, right? Are we gonna watch it again?
Yeah, so we
Well-
can actually make sure we've absorbed everything because
Holy shit.
yeah, I have
Holy
a
shit,
lot of
dude.
things that I know I missed because I was so enthralled with the CGI of one thing or another that the rest of the screen was kind of blank towards.
Oh man. I mean, this is a historic day in Star Wars history. This is the day that Star Wars live action reached the screens in our homes in the television format whether it's streaming or through a network or whatever, it doesn't matter. It's the first day we had an episodic series, televised version of Star Wars storytelling brought to us cinematically on our screens in our homes. I'm sure anyone listening feels the same way. And we're just fucking, we're hanging out. The two of us are just fucking hanging out, having a good time. And we cannot wait to just dive into this, like scene by scene, and just pick it apart. And wow. What the fuck did we just watch, dude? That was amazing.
There's so much I want to talk
That was
about,
fucking
but I want to
amazing.
talk about the middle, the beginning, and the end, and I don't know
my
what order
God.
to do it in. So
That was
obviously, we
fantastic.
should probably start with the beginning.
Yeah, so we're gonna watch it. We're gonna watch it again, and then I'm gonna pause it right here. We're gonna watch it again, and then we're gonna take you guys through our thoughts about the whole thing. But just to let you know, we already watched it, and like our brains are fried. So we're gonna watch it again, and then pick it up from there. So we will be right back. Thank you, guys. Oh man, Mikey and I, we just watched The Mandalorian, the first episode of the first season, for the second time, and we. how you feeling right now?
My face is
that?
kind of tingly. I don't know if that really makes sense or not.
Oh my god, there's so many different feelings for me, and I think for both of us, where to start, right? What I want to say is that it's the first time that Star Wars has been brought to, in a live action format, been brought to, television in a format of a series. And if you're listening to this podcast, you probably agree that that's a long time coming to understand what that means to us. And also the expectations, right? Like, holy fuck, like how are these epic films? How are the films and also the genre or Star Wars itself that brought filmmaking to where it is today keep up to expectations in a television format or in a series format for that matter? How does it hold up to those expectations? And especially after the last decade and a half that we've had, from the prequels to the sequel trilogy, and a lot of the back and forth in terms of the community, the fandom, and all that shit. But you know what, man? I think Filoni and Favreau, I think they brought something really fucking special, man. I think this is like from the heart. I think that you had two dudes that were at the forefront of this thing, and they spoke for all of us. And I think that they put their passion first. And man, Mikey, I don't know, bro. Like I'm taken back. That was amazing. First episode. That was the first episode. We're getting how many more? 10 more? 9 more? 9 more?
7 more.
7 more. Excuse me. Holy shit. Before we get into the fucking episode, I just want to know how you're feeling right now. Like your expectations when you, like, the Michael Condon, the 8-year-old Michael Condon to today, that you watched a Star Wars television show, the first episode of a Star Wars television show. Are you like, how do you feel, bro? Bro, how do you feel right now? That's what I want to know.
It's hard to explain because it's like seeing the first one I remember watching is Return of the Jedi because I grew up with them. They had them on VHS, taped off HBO. But the first one I really remember watching is Return of the Jedi.
Right.
But just that feeling,
Right.
At 40 years old, having that feeling again of new Star Wars, and not saying anything against the prequels or the sequels. It's just a completely different feeling from going to see the movies where I'm sitting at my house watching on TV and it's something brand new coming out.
I mean, it's really spectacular, the fact that, like, when we were kids, we waited in line to see this 2-hour epic, and now we're loading up some app in our home, and we're loading up a 42-minute show that is basically the same caliber of the films that we've loved since we were kids up until today. And we'd have to go to the theater with our families and our friends and watch that. And now we just loaded up an app and just watched like the same caliber and the same quality and premiumness of a Star Wars story that fits into the continuum of the universe and the galaxy. I don't know, man. I'm like, it was fucking amazing, dude. I'm happy to enjoy this night with you, bro. That was great. That was fucking awesome, dude.
I mean,
That
I
was
stayed
amazing.
off social media and
Right.
everything today just because we had the viewing party all planned out for a while now, and it was well worth it. The trip across town,
For sure. For sure, man.
I wouldn't give that up for anything. It's just a great thing going on right now, and they took. Because I wasn't looking anything up, I don't know what the run times are on the other ones. This one was actually a little shorter than I thought it was going to be, but I guess to get everyone involved that isn't maybe a die-hard Star Wars fan like we are, that are taking days off or rearrange their lives or
Yeah.
doing podcasts or
Yeah.
whatever it is.
I mean-
it's probably good to just get them hooked in so it's not too long, where it actually seems like they sat down and watched a movie.
Yeah.
Time-wise.
Yeah. I mean, what was it, like 44 minutes or whatever?
Yeah, I think
46
39
minutes?
or 40.
I
but
mean,
yeah.
I was kind of disappointed with the time frame, but then while watching it, I felt like that lasted over an hour because I was so enthralled, and it was brilliant, by the way.
Oh, we definitely got our bang for the buck on this one. I mean, it was, you watch a regular television program that's 42 minutes. A lot of times, even if it's something that's action or suspenseful that keeps your attention the whole time, it feels like 42 minutes that you're watching it.
Absolutely, man.
This one went by in a flash.
Went by in a fucking flash. So we'll, obviously both of us extremely loved it. This is not about a grade or anything. This is more about like us, like taking you guys through our favorite parts of the first episode and what we loved about it. Obviously, if you're listening to this, I hope you already saw it. One thing I want to bring up right off the bat was the intro before the show started. The new Disney Lucasfilm Star Wars intro to Star Wars series. It was like a flash of Vader and BB-8 and R2 and 3PO and another droid, and then it cut into a Star Wars logo with the yellow, red font and the traditional Star Wars font. It was different. It was very, very different, and this was post Lucasfilm logo, right? So Lucasfilm logo came up, and then we were introduced to this new. Okay, Star Wars is on TV now. This is what you're gonna see. You're gonna see this like flash of like famous characters. There was also a droid in there. I didn't even know what the fuck it was. Like at the end, it was just like a random droid, or maybe that was supposed to be 3PO. I don't know. But that was the first new thing to make me realize like Star Wars is now breaking boundaries and going on to our television sets to be the first thing that we've ever seen of this content we're about to watch. And Mikey, what do you think about that? Like, did you appreciate that intro?
Yeah, that intro really, it stuck out as that was. I mean, obviously the first thing I noticed because it's the first thing
Yeah.
about it. But
Of course.
my first thought was, is this just for The Mandalorian? Is this for all of Disney Plus? Is this for all Star Wars Disney Plus? Because, like I said, I haven't done social media. I haven't even opened up the app. I haven't done anything today, so I don't have, that basic question that most people probably already know the answer to.
Right.
That's something that I'm still
Yeah.
intrigued about. And after we're done doing this, we're probably going to play around and see if other things, when we start it brought us right to The Empire Strikes Back. But, who knows what will happen after this.
Mikey, I think that I actually started The Empire Strikes Back before I picked you up, and that didn't happen. So I think that intro is for specifically for the episodic. When I say episodic, I should probably say episode televised through streaming episodes of their series that they're going to release through their Disney Plus service. So, we've got the Cassian Andor series coming. We've got on Friday. This may prove my theory here that like that's what we'll see for the second episode of The Mandalorian. I don't think that's going to be an intro that we'll see for the Star Wars films being launched on Disney Plus. Do I like it? Yeah, I think I like that, dude. I thought it was cool because it had elements of all three trilogies to make it seem like this is just the universe of Star Wars and you're about to enter that in whatever shape or form.
I mean, that's a really good point, but we could just turn it on and off and see what happens and have our answer.
That's true.
But
That's true for sure. So, Mikey, we
Yes.
sat here, we watched this twice. I don't know. I mean, I have so many things to express.
I mean, there's the big one. There's the big one to talk about, but we should probably leave that for the end.
We'll leave that. We'll leave that for the end, man. So, when I was a kid, I didn't like watching shit in black and white. I hated watching shit in black and white. And my
You're
dad.
that old that you have black and white TV back then?
No, that's not. No, meaning films. My dad would show me that were only in
alright,
black and
I
white.
wasn't sure.
In 1986, not everything got color vision, and I watched a lot of John Wayne films from like the 70s or whatever, the early 70s or whatever the fuck, and I love the music, the cowboy rebelliousness of entering a town and all this type of thing, and I gotta tell you, man, like. When George Lucas said that there's the Western style, underneath that was a samurai style way of storytelling. I mean, dude, like you can't not agree that like when he walks into that cantina, and take it, this is spoiler free because if you're listening to this, you already saw the episode. Like when he works he's on that ice planet going after his target, and he walks in there, and you hear that whistle when the door opens. I mean, it's straight up Western, man. Like I don't know your history of a Western, but like that is like Favreau and Filoni looking at it like he's going right into the bar, right into the fucking bar in town, and you're gonna hear that little whistle, but it wasn't that, and that's from Big Bad and the Ugly, by the way. But it was a different whistle. It was a whistle that's actually related later on the show, and he takes his target down. But like, do you agree, or do you have any history with westerns? Or
I agree with what you're saying. My knowledge of westerns, I grew up. My dad would be watching things, and so if I was gonna watch a television program, I was forced to watch it with him. But I didn't get the explanation on. When I was a kid, westerns and why I should appreciate them.
Right.
I didn't like them because they were black and white and they were boring. It's kind of like NASCAR, something I didn't appreciate until I got older and realized, there's even though it's the spaghetti westerns, it's the same storyline. They're entertaining. And nothing against people that like NASCAR. I don't want you guys to get some hate mail or whatever.
No.
I like NASCAR, but I didn't appreciate it until I got older.
I mean, NASCAR's kind of boring, dude. I mean, it's NASCAR's completely boring.
I didn't like NASCAR until I started playing NASCAR video games and realized the science behind it. But that's neither here nor there.
True, but like the flute, right? Like when the door opens and he enters the bar,
yes,
and you hear that flute, and that flute was not. It was not happening within that scene. That flute was for us. That was part of the soundtrack. Am I wrong?
Well, getting into the soundtrack, this soundtrack is amazing. From
Everything.
from what we've heard today, I'm going to assume that it's like this the entire time. It's right up there with the movies. We haven't had anything big and huge and dramatic for it yet, like we do in the movies when you have the Emperor's March or certain characters' themes. As far as I could really tell, but I mean, just one of the things that really came up to me was. Or that I liked was the cannon when he's in the shooting scene. The music with that was
dude, it was fucking Rambo. Oh my god,
it was Rambo, but the music was so moving.
It was
when he was using that weapon. That I mean, you could just besides the enjoyment of just watching him shooting the gun, it just like gave you. It gave me feelings.
Oh, dude, it was great. It gave you feelings, and it just made you stimulated, and it made you excited that he had that. It just rhymed, every shot he took against every enemy in that I mean, what do you call that? In the middle of that little death camp or whatever the hell it is, everyone that went down went right with the flow of the music, and it was just fantastic, man.
Yeah, I counted really quick. I think it was 16 people, but
I think you're right. I mean, we watched it twice.
Yeah.
We both agreed it was like 15, 16.
yeah. But I mean, he took out a bunch of people right there. I'm not sure exactly how many people he got because IG-11 was there and what he took out before, but still,
Right.
it was 2 against whatever. And
I mean,
they
a
took
heroic
out
moment.
the whatever.
What a heroic moment, though, right? So just to segue back to where we are, like we're at the beginning of the episode right now, right? So I just want to say, like, for me, the line of the episode is when he gets his bounty, and he literally says to him, like, I can bring you in warm, or I can bring you in cold. And he hits the hilt of that gun.
Yep.
I mean, come on, dude. That's the fucking line of the episode, bro.
That was something I had.
That was like so Clint Eastwood. It was just the brilliant writing. And it was just, I've been already seeing it quote on social media. It was fantastic, dude.
And it's like the classic Star Wars where it's not a comedy, but you have these one-liners that aren't zingers,
Right.
but they're funny. And
It was great. It not even funny. It was just like it's branded. It branded the scene. Like we're all there's gonna be people memeing that and hashtagging that.
Yeah.
Like I had so many text messages and DMs and PMs today of like, I can bring you in warm or I can bring you in cold. I mean, it was just a genius part of it. Mikey,
yes.
what was your favorite scene of the first episode? Like, let's go off the rails here. Like, take it that everyone's already watched it who's listening to this right now. Like, what was your favorite scene of this episode? Don't even look at that. Like, think about like what was the favorite?
No, I know.
What was
I'm
your
trying to
favorite
think
part?
because now I'm trying to rank them in my
Right.
head.
Of course.
On if you said okay, you get to watch this scene over and over, and I don't know if I can pick out one scene because it's just different groups of scene. When he sits down with Carl Weathers.
Yeah. What's it?
and-
Whatever. Carl Weathers. I don't even know his fucking name. It's fucking Carl Weathers, man. It's Apollo Creed. He sat down with Apollo Creed. He's sitting down with Apollo Creed, and Apollo Creed winds up giving him Mon Calamari flan. So Imperial credits are now worth dick. Mandalorian does not want Imperial credits. He would rather take calamari flan, which looked like these epic little coins made up of oceanic geography teal / watery little coins. They were really cool. I want one actually. Would you like a calamari flan?
Yeah,
Like a coin?
I think
I
we
would
should-
like one.
I think we should get some of those made up.
I think that calamari flan will now be a staple in cosplay. I mean, that coin alone was pretty fucking epic. Yeah, Carl Weathers was pretty dope.
But his name is Grief Karga.
Grief. Didn't we talk about this
We
before?
did. We talked about it
Right.
for.
So
a few
guys,
minutes.
so if you guys are listening, you already know I'm an alcoholic, and I had a couple Stellas before this. And Mikey, he's been trying to take care of me, so that's why he's a little off base. But
Well, I'm an alcoholic too. I just drink Pepsi. So
yeah,
there's a difference.
he's addicted to caffeine. So I want everyone to know that so after the calamari flan episode with Carl Weathers and this and that, and they leave the ice planet, the fucking crazy ice walrus that attacks what the fuck is the name of the ship? I have it here. What's the name of the fucking ship, dude?
I told you earlier.
I know, I got it. It's called the anyway, the Mandalorian ship, which is the Razor Crest.
Yes.
God
Razor
damn it,
Crest.
Beavis. Beavis, god damn it.
We had a conversation about that about 20 minutes ago too.
Agreed. So those fucking whales or walruses.
It looks
are
like a
called,
walrus.
It's called a Rabanax. There's a Rabanax under the ice layer of the sea, and the Rabanax was done fucking awesome. I mean, I know it's CGI, and a lot of this was practical effects. But like, can we talk about the Rabbinax real quick? Like, when the Rabbinax holds on to the ship, I mean, and the way it was done with the music, I thought it was fantastic. What did you
That
think?
was a really great scene. I want to tell you something about CGI after that, but yeah, that was a really good scene. When it first came up and attacked it, you couldn't really tell what it was, but it had a really quick shot, a really quick glimpse of being a walrus, and I wasn't sure until the second viewing that's what it was, a walrus.
I am the
type.
walrus.
Okay, you are John Lennon now.
Julian on Lennon.
Okay,
John Lennon.
that's all right. Then.
John Lennon. What?
And,
Okay.
okay. So, anyways, talking about the CGI.
Yeah.
I guess we can go unless there's something else you want to.
No, I don't. But
we-
you told me you were impressed with the practical effects, and I thought,
Well, we went from you said CGI, and then I think going along with in sequence of the film, we go to the Beskar.
Right.
And we meet Gary
Right.
Busey coming up.
Nick Nolte, Gary Busey, same. By the way, same person. Are we in agreement?
I think so. I don't know if we've ever seen him in the same place.
Right. So Michael and I have been in agreement that Gary Busey and Nick Nolte are the same person, but we haven't seen him in the same place. But when he's called Gary Busey, we like that version better. So we're gonna call him Gary Busey. So go ahead. So Gary Busey.
Yeah, their names are pretty much interchangeable, but
Yeah, it doesn't matter. So Gary Busey is the Native American version of an alien that finds the Mandalorian.
that's going along with the Western theme. That's
Right.
That's what it seems like. He's the
The-
Native American that's helping. That's gonna
Helping the cowboy.
helping the cowboy.
Right.
And they go to defeat the bad guys for the purpose of whatever it is for the
Right,
story.
and the Native
But-
American teaches the cowboy to ride like the Native American horse, which is different than the cowboy horse. That's just been trained since a pony. And so every time he says, what does he say? I have said, this is done. He says, I have said, this is done. What the fuck does he say?
I have spoken.
I have spoken. He says, I have spoken. So this reminds me of a lot of the westerns I used to see where the cowboys were the Native Americans, would say to the lone cowboy, whether it be John Wayne or Clint Eastwood, and they'd go like, how or whatever. And either Clint Eastwood or whatever the fuck would be like, say a whole paragraph, and they would just say, how. And these movies exist. So when he says, I have spoken, like, the cowboy knows that's the last, like, response he's going to get, so he goes along with the program. So it's very, like, Native American to the cowboy on his adventure. Does that make sense? Mike, does that make sense?
I think
Or am I
it's
crazy?
No, I think it's a very good parallel. Comparison
though.
to
It's
that
like
was what you got to remember. These guys that are making this Star Wars now, like you said earlier, they're our age. They grew up with Star Wars. They're Star Wars fans. They were inspired by the same thing as George Lucas with the cowboy movies and westerns,
And the
They were-
Japanese samurai films.
and they were a little bit
which is similar.
little bit different time frame or whatever. So
Right.
their take on them is going to be a little bit different. Where George Lucas saw him when he was a little kid or a teenager,
Right.
And that was the cutting edge, or that was the stuff that was coming out. Now, when we saw them, they were old movies, but they still inspired us just in different ways. So you're going to get a
Right.
lot of hints, and
I agree.
of things similar to that throughout this whole series is what I'm going to go with.
The one thing that stood out to me was it's similar, Cash Money back then in the early 1800s or mid 1800s, a coin or a piece of paper that would be, American currency didn't mean anything to them. They don't know what that means. They just want you to solve a problem in their native land. And it's very similar to, we're going to call him Gary Busey for us. We're calling him Gary Busey. We know the character's name and we know it was Nick Nolte, but we like Gary Busey. Do you agree? Should be Gary Busey?
Call.
Yeah, I like Gary Busey.
Okay.
Long story short, he didn't take it. He didn't want anything. What he wanted was the Mandalorian to rid his land of this evil that's on this land. And he said, I showed you how to get here. You couldn't use a speeder. You couldn't use a speeder bike. I want to go back to that, by the way. I showed you how to ride one of these Burks or Blurgs. And you're going to take those motherfuckers out. And that was really, really cool. And that's Filoni always going back to George's concept of, like, when it's planet side and it's rural, and it's raw as fuck, and technology spread out here and there. But like, think about culture. Think about like, communities. That's what it is, And this motherfucker was like, dude, you're the Mandalorian. I read books about you, similar to the way that Native Americans wrote about like a raw ass cowboy who comes in and guns blazing
Don't
with his
say
two
that.
two 6-shooters. No,
Ross, that's kind of never mind.
we gotta cut that out.
Maybe.
Hawes, edit that out. Long story short, that's like Filoni and Favreau going back to like George's influence on the Western storytelling. Am I wrong though?
No,
Like-
you are, but no, you're not wrong. You're right. I'm agreeing with you when I said yeah.
Okay.
You're on the right track. The
Yeah.
right page.
Anyway, long story short, what's his name? Clay.
Call.
Gary Busey.
Gary
Busey takes him there.
You son of
I'm
a
gonna
bitch.
back up really quick. So for like the Star Wars geekdom of the world, why couldn't the Mandalorian take a speeder or a old school ruck speeder bike over those canyons to where this MacGuffin was being held? I'll tell you right now, there was huge gaps within those caverns, like dropping down. And from my knowledge, from my Star Wars encyclopedia I have the old version, but it should still stay in consistency, is that it's magnetics, right? So if you've got a speeder or a speeder bike going over a long chasm over the period of maybe 5 to 8 meters or one parsec or whatever the fuck,
You're way
it's
off,
it's
but
it's
yes.
yeah, way off. It's magnetic, right? Agreed. And those creatures can actually jump it, so you don't have to deal with the technological deficiencies that would happen if you took a vehicle across. Mikey?
Yeah, I would have just gone with when you have breaks in the land, you can't drive properly with the magnetic field. But
Yeah.
it's-
Well, I always oversay everything.
You had a couple Stellas, so
Yeah.
we talk a little bit more.
Yeah.
You ready for another Stella or?
Yeah, I'm gonna go get another Stella. Mike's gonna talk. So, Mike, start off with we're getting to the old OK Corral here. We're at the OK Corral, and IG11's there. I want to say 88 so bad. And IG11's there.
So we have the Mandalorian coming down, and he meets a couple of the bad guys and has his little thing with that. IG-11 comes in. But before we get into that scene, I just want to backtrack for a second because we got a little bit enthusiastic and kind of, we don't need to go in order, but I want to bring up, so we see a scene after he meets Carl Weathers.
Right.
So Apollo Creed gives him his money. What does he do with his money?
Or gets the Beskar or Beskar or whatever.
Beskar, that's the metal that they used to make the armor with. He takes that and he goes, and you see an kind of not so nice of an area or living quarters, what seems to be the remnants of Mandalorians. How many towns or in that town there are areas like this, or what are the Mandalorians actually reduced to at this time?
Do you think that that's actually the remnants of Mandalore that they're on, like the planet?
No, I just think that I haven't thought that far yet. I'm still trying to.
Fair.
I'm still trying to absorb the end of this episode.
Yeah.
You know,
So we got
maybe
like a colony
maybe
of
on
Mandalorians.
on my 7th or 8th viewing of this tonight, I'll get into that and pull out the reference books. But so there's the colony that they have, how big it is. They're just showing us this little bit. But my first thought was, this is what the Mandalorians are reduced to. This superior race, I don't mean superior race like that. I mean technology. They have superior technology to the rest of
Or once
the world.
previous superior race that's now succumbed to them being a small colony.
Some little
somewhere
kids
on
running around or whatever, and then we had a little discussion on the Mandalorian goes and he's going to get some armor made. Who's making the armor? It appears to be a woman. We're not really sure, but
Well, she had a skirt. and like a different helmet. But.
Well, a guy can wear a skirt too. This is, you know,
I agree, but there is also
it's
a way-
2019. If a guy wants to wear a skirt, we're not going to stop him.
the physiology of the character. It kind of looked like a female character. But
Yeah, it looked like
it
had
could be
on-
both. It could be
looked
both.
like it had on a breastplate, and the cod piece was a little bit different, but
Right.
you know.
And so
But
so
that armor thing was interesting because everyone, I say everyone, I mean the Star Wars community was talking about. We saw pictures of the Mandalorian, and as the pictures progressed, what we believe to be in the timeline, his armor changes, and this is where we go and we see him get a shoulder piece made from the little piece of metal that he had. But we want to know who is the blacksmith. Is it just a blacksmith, or is it a throwaway character we're not going to see?
I wonder if that's like Gina Carano's character. She takes her helmet off.
Cara Dune?
Yeah. I mean, why not?
I mean, she could be a blacksmith, but from... I don't know, this is completely speculating. It just looked like she would be more of a warrior. But I guess if there's really no one to be a warrior for, she's just on her backup plan as a blacksmith.
Fair enough. I think it's interesting that he's doing bounties for a currency that is basically a metal that can replace their armor from the metal that originally initiated from Mandalore. So he's not doing bounty for currency. He's doing bounty for metal that can replace his armor. That's very interesting to me.
I mean,
What do you think?
their armor was, or I'm sorry, their metal that they were using, the Beskar, was confiscated or taken during the Great Siege by
From the Empire. Right.
the Empire.
Right.
So, you know, kind of like when the USSR broke up, and all of a sudden, all of the stockpiles of missiles just get spread out and go everywhere. All the stockpiles of the Beskar for that the Empire had just kind of disappears and goes wherever, and now it's a valuable commodity, and you know it's not going to be returned to their rightful owners. It
Right.
has to be,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah, absolutely, dude. I think that it was really cool to watch him get his first shoulder plate from the Bexar metal, and it's really interesting. It's like, but what is his goal? What is his main goal? It can't be like, yo, dude, my main goal is to bling out my armor like every other kid playing an MMORPG. It's got to be more so in the fact that like they can take control of their technology and their planet's resources to the point that like they can create their society and their civilization again. I feel like he's very, very passionate about his race and about where he is from and his family and the community that his family is associated with. And that shoulder piece is just a piece of what we're seeing about the grand story, you know?
Well, I think just with that aspect, the whole way of the Mandalorian life is to respect and honor that the fact that you are a Mandalorian, and that's kind of bred into them, the importance of that. But I think he's trying to build his suit of armor or his weapons cache not to be blinged out or to be the best looking Mandalorian he is, but to be back to what it should be, so he's whole.
Right.
And it's not necessarily himself, but the armor, so that he can do what the Mandalorian, to protect and to serve. And it's for the Mandalore or the Mandalorians that are left.
So it's almost both, Mikey. It's like he, as a metaphor, he wants to get that armor on himself, but at the same time, as he completes that armor, he is making his tribe and his clan, his Mandalorian clan, that much stronger by providing all this, currency and asset. As he succeeds in these jobs, and gets further to his ultimate goal, which we don't know yet.
No. The other thing, just to touch on that really quick before we move on.
Yeah.
She asks
What do you
him, did you get your signet yet? Or she says, I didn't.
Yeah,
I don't know
yeah.
if I
Did
With
you
did you get your signet yet, or did they see it?
The forger, the blacksmith forger, or what have you.
Yeah.
She says your signet. Do you have your signet yet? What are your thoughts on that? What is that?
I mean, well, there's really a lot of ways they could go. It's is it something that someone else has that he's trying to get back or that he needs to purchase?
Right.
I mean, because a signet is really just it's like your seal.
Yeah.
But instead of having a stamp, you have it on something so that you're identified then as the Mandalorian.
Yeah.
Without, I don't know. That's a really in-depth conversation.
I gotta tell you, Mikey.
Yeah.
Like, I think that as many answers as we have that many more questions. I mean, I can't wait for Friday, right? What a great time to be a Star Wars fan.
It is. It is.
It's
And
fucking fantastic, bro. Holy shit! What a great first episode. I mean, if this is Max Pap's review of the first episode with my boy Mikey, I mean, it was fucking fantastic. Mike, Johnny gave me 20 minutes on this. We're at 40.
Okay, well,
We should probably talk really, really quickly about the ending spoiler finale.
yeah.
I'm going to give it to you as my guest. What?
Well, it was.
I don't even know what to say, man.
I'm-
like him and IG-11. They kill everybody in the OK Corral. They open up this pod cradle, and Michael, tell me what you saw and tell me what you think. Holy fucking shit!
Well, they come in and then they say, "Oh, where is it?" Which really contradicts. When we were at Celebration, they said something about the bounty being 50 years old, and everyone, the way that it was laid out, thought that it was a 50-year-old bounty.
Right.
Not-
Like the actual, like the if I post up a wanted picture, a wanted notice, that
From
notice
1970,
it would be
1970.
2020. It's still up there. No one's got it yet, right?
Well, it turns out that the bounty is 50 years old.
Like the
that-
actual person that needs to be
yes.
bountied or captured is 50 years old.
Yes. So they go to see the person and they realize from the area the person is in, it either has to be and when I say person, it could be alien also.
Right.
Where this creature is, and they open it up, and it is Baby Yoda.
Oh
And
my
I don't
God.
mean baby. I don't mean actually Yoda.
Right. We don't have a name. We don't have a name for
we
the
don't-
race.
We don't know what it is. So
obviously.
it's just they're all Yodas or Yaddles.
It's a baby Yaddle Yoda's. Now, you think it's a he or she?
Well, the rumors that were going around is that it was a young girl or a young baby that the Mandalorian found and then takes under his wing to protect, kind of like in the movie The Professional.
Yeah. With
Winona
Natalie
Ryder.
Portman.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I remember that.
My future wife.
Yeah. Okay. Maybe.
But anyways, back to
no.
reality. So
Yeah.
Star Wars. So we don't really know. He kills IG-11 and stops IG-11 at the moment. Who knows if IG-11 will be rebuilt or fixed? And
Actually, I want to stop you right there. I've already seen clips of Jackson did it too. Jackson's seen it's Rogue One. Everyone knows about Jackson. So Michael's looking around like, we need to stop recording. Your dog is barking.
oh no, when I do my recordings, my dogs bark and
yeah.
jump in front of the camera and everything too. So
Yeah, that makes sense.
That's fine.
Jack, shut your face. Come here. We're recording Star Wars, asshole.
I'll
He
be
got
nice
it
to
now.
the puppy.
No, he knows. He's nice. Anyway, long story short, I don't think that we were prepared for any of this, dude. Like a baby Yoda race. I
was not expecting that.
If I was in Vegas and I had as X amount of money and I had to put it down and I had 4 options and that was one of the options, that would be the last option I fucking picked.
Well, I mean, I
Like-
follow a lot of the spoilers and pay attention to everything with the spoilers. And I'm really happy that this one was not spoiled for me because the enjoyment and the awe and the feelings I got from seeing Baby Yoda. It was just so little cute right there, like a little puppy. I just wanted to pet it and have it be my friend, and then teach me the ways of the Force. But I'd probably be dead because it's already 50 years old. They're gonna live to be 900. But you know, that was amazing. That was huge. It was not spoiled for me. You know, I gave up Twitter and Facebook and everything pretty much for the day, and it was well worth it. If I could get something like that every day, I would give up all social media.
Oh, for sure,
Never
dude.
talk to you guys again.
For sure. We're at 45 minutes. As much as I want to keep going on, we're way over schedule. There's so much more we could say. This is part of the Mandalorian release episode. Johnny's got another host with him tonight because Hawes couldn't make it, and Michael was here, and the schedules didn't align. Michael, what was that you just showed me? We got one more thing, quick. We got 1 minute. What do you got?
We thought about after the second viewing, when
ahead.
IG-11 or I'm sorry, the Mandalorian goes to collect the bounty, and he kills all of those Trandoshan's and
There was more than just Trandoshans, but yeah.
Right,
there was
kills all the people
the
guarding
mercenaries, whatever.
Baby Yoda. My idea was, what if they were all good guys? Because we
Right.
really don't know. And the Mandalorian just went and killed 15 good guys or 20 good guys, even if they were mercenaries. So now they're mercenaries, but they're working for the good guys or the good people, because there's a reason this Baby Yoda has been hidden for 50 years. And that's a
You're
whole
right.
other thing, because if you add up the 50 years at the time of this, what else is 50 years?
The birth of Anakin Skywalker.
So is it
The same year.
Is it a coincidence that we have the birth of Anakin Skywalker and the birth of a Baby Yoda at the same time?
Well, those of you who are still listening at this point at 47 minutes of me and Mikey, think about that real quick, because we got a ton of theories. Unfortunately, we're out of time. Michael, thank you for that. And we love you guys. We know that a lot of you who are still listening at 47 minutes are our friends that we know very well. And this is Mike Pappas, and I'm taking us out.